Brighton star Moises Caicedo appears to be doing all he can to secure a summer transfer to Chelsea. The Blues have thus far has 2 bids rejected for the 21-year-old, with the Seagulls standing firm on their stance they value the player at the same price as Declan Rice, who cost Arsenal £105 million earlier in the window. Chelsea, however, are unlikely to reach that mark, with their belief that a proposal around £80 million will be enough. Talks have continued in recent days with both clubs in the USA for their respective pre-season tours, with face-to-face negotiations planned before they play each other this weekend. Earlier this week, Chelsea lodged a £70 million offer that was swiftly rejected by Brighton, but Caicedo is now putting pressure on his parent club. The Ecuador international is said to be unhappy that an agreement has not been sorted yet that would see him complete a move to Chelsea. Interest was strong in Caicedo during the January transfer window, but staying at the club saw him sign a new contract on the South Coast. Doing so appeared confusing at first, but it was then widely reported that there was a clause in those fresh terms that would help him facilitate a move with the blessing of Roberto De Zerbi, and now it looks as though Caicedo is acting on those promises given to him. Chelsea have been handed a major blow in the race to sign Dusan Vlahovic this summer. The 23-year-old has been heavily linked with a move to Stamford Bridge recently, with Mauricio Pochettino said to still be in the market for a striker despite having already signed Nicholas Jackson. Vlahovic, who sees his contract at the Allianz Stadium expire in 2026, featured 27 times for Juventus in the Serie A last season, finding the net just 10 times. Despite his misfortune in front of goal, the Serbia international has reportedly courted the interest of some top clubs, including the Blues. According to Italian outlet Corriere della Sera, the old lady rejected an opening bid from Chelsea worth around €60 million. The report states that Juventus could be open to offloading Vlahovic if their £77 million asking price is met, which is £11 million more than what they paid for him last year, with Massimiliano Allegri seemingly open to offloading the Serbian. Real Madrid have reportedly joined the West London outfit in their pursuit. According to Sky Sports, as quoted by Goal, Los Blancos are exploring the possibility of signing Vlahovic this summer following the departure of Karim Benzema. Mauricio Pochettino is impressed by young Chelsea midfielder Andre Santos and is increasingly considering keeping him at the club next season. The 19-year-old is one of a host of players currently auditioning for Pochettino's squad in pre-season and wants to avoid another campaign out on loan. Chelsea executives have high hopes for their £18 million January signing from Vasco da Gama and believe he is ready, with a work permit now secured. However, the final decision rests with Pochettino, who wants to look at a host of his young stars before deciding whether or not they are ready for Chelsea's first team. Cesare Casadei was Santos' midfield partner on Wednesday night and also impressed amid loan interest from Leicester. Ian Maatsen also declared his desire to stay at Chelsea after scoring twice against Wrexham, but Burnley have now been joined by West Ham in pursuing him on a permanent transfer. Chelsea and Manchester United will be handed a major boost to their hopes of signing Victor Osimhen if Napoli sanction the striker's latest demand. The 24-year-old has been heavily linked with a move to the Premier League this summer following his title-winning performances for the Italian giants. Osimhen, who sees his contract at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona expire in 2025, featured 32 times for Napoli in the Serie A last season, scoring 26 goals to clinch the Golden Boot and the Scudetto. At the same time, Gli Azzurri are desperate to hold on to the Nigeria international. Football.London understands that the Blues have not been put off by their stubborn stance. It's believed that Chelsea view Osimhen as somebody who can transform the club's misfortunes in front of goal, but they're aware that without Champions League qualification any bid to sign him could prove difficult. With Napoli eager to fend off interest from some of Europe's top clubs, the Nigerian could sign a new long-term deal. However, they may be left with no choice but to bow down to his demands. According to Sky Sports Italy, Osimhen has asked for a £103.8 million release clause to be inserted into a potential contract extension, forcing United to break their existing transfer record. Chelsea have spent more money on transfer than any other side in the world since May 2022. They have the record for the largest summer and winter spends ever recorded. The table shows a 12th place finish to account for such hideously grandiose spending. Their wastefulness is a black comedy horror story of how not to be efficient or perceived as competent over a 12-month spell. It is a case study of widespread failure, ineptitude, and poor decision-making. The results speak for themselves on the pitch, and the backtracking off it only adds to the mountain of evidence. Chelsea made decisions last summer to keep Mason Mount, Cesar Azpilicueta, Jorginho, Kai Havertz, Christian Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Whether they signed them or couldn't shift them, the Blues bloated their squad and spent near enough £100 million, $130 million, on Marc Cucurella and Kalidou Koulibaly. Come the end of August, both players might have been sold for a fraction of the price. The rest are either gone or on their way. In 12 months their stance shifted immeasurably. If unsustainability was decided on a set of transfers and the following decisions, it would be this. Now, with exits coming thick and fast with more to follow and a few more on top of that, the club are being made to pay for years of careless action. Never has it been more apparent than now. Despite having a net spend of £351.83 million, $460.5 million, over the past two windows their overall squad value now rests at just £745.5 million, $975 million. With the additional embarrassment that £158.8 million, $207 million, of that is made up of academy graduates, the spending power has not equated to relative success or anywhere near. It is not just a Todd Boehly-Clearlake capital thing either. 8 of the remaining group were signed by the previous regime, which proved itself to be just as wide of the mark with transfers in the past 7 years, if not worse. The current owners have largely focused their attentions on young players with high promise and the chance of a reasonable sell-on even if the players do not reach the required levels at Stamford Bridge. Too many of the Roman Abramovich signings were focused on immediate improvements that didn't live up to expectations, with league results plummeting after 2017. Between January and the start of the summer, Chelsea were faced with a group of 37 players, 9 academy-born, 15 Abramovich signed and 12 from Boehly-Clearlake. The tide has now turned significantly. Boehly-Clearlake wished to make Chelsea theirs and not just an image of old Chelsea under new ownership. That plan is now close to completion, for better or worse. New Chelsea is upon us.